My ex told everyone I ruined his life, and they believed him. What they don't know is that I've been protecting them from the real story, because once it's out, none of us can go back. You ever get a text that flips your stomach upside down before you even finish reading it? That was me. Tuesday night, 11:30 p.m. I was half asleep, brushing my teeth, when my phone buzzed with a message from my girlfriend, Madison. Baby, please don't freak out. I crashed your truck. I'm okay. Derek was driving. We were just catching up over coffee. He offered to drive because I had a headache. So sorry. We'll explain everything when I get home. I just froze there. Toothbrush still in my hand, foam dripping, trying to process what I'd just read. Derek. Her ex. The one she swore she hadn't spoken to in years. The one who was completely in the past. And now he was driving my truck, my pristine, fully paid off Toyota Tacoma that I'd babied for 3 years straight. At first, the anger came like a wave, hot and instant. But then it cooled. Something sharper took over. Calculation. I texted back, keeping my tone calm. Is everyone safe? Where are you? She replied a minute later. Yeah, we're fine. Cops are here. It's just some body damage. Don't worry, baby. Oh, I wasn't worried. Not in the way she thought. I typed one last message. Okay, be safe. See you when you get home. Love you. Then I sat down, took a deep breath, and called my insurance company. Their 24-hour line picked up after 2 rings. Hi, I said, steady as a surgeon, I need to report an accident involving my vehicle. I wasn't the one driving. The agent started walking me through the basics, location, time, vehicle info, until she got to the question I was waiting for. Who was operating the vehicle at the time of the accident? I said, a guy named Derek. He's not on my policy. My girlfriend let him drive without my knowledge or permission. There was a pause. Then the agent said the words that made my night. Sir, that would make him an unauthorized driver. He'll be personally liable for any damages. Perfect, I said, keeping my voice even. Absolutely perfect. Madison came home around 1 a.m. via Uber. She looked like a kid caught sneaking in after curfew, guilty, but trying to play innocent. Okay, before you get mad, she started, hands up, I ran into Derek at the coffee shop. Total coincidence. We started talking, and he offered to drive me home because I got this massive caffeine headache. He's not used to trucks, and he just misjudged a turn. I interrupted. You told me you were running errands. I was, she said quickly. I just also grabbed coffee with my ex. As friends. She looked at me like I was the crazy one. You're being jealous over nothing. I just stared at her. Madison, that truck isn't insured for random people to drive. You know that. She waved her hand dismissively. Relax, insurance will cover it. That's what it's for. Actually, I said, it won't. Because Derek was an unauthorized driver. Which means he's personally responsible for all the damages. Her face went pale. Wait, what do you mean? I said, calmly, it means my insurance company is going to sue your ex for everything, repairs, replacements, whatever it costs. That's how this works. Her eyes widened. You told them Derek was driving? Of course I did, I said. I'm not about to commit insurance fraud for your ex-boyfriend. She stood there, speechless for a moment, then exploded. How could you do that to him? It was an accident. An accident, I said, that happened because you lied to me and let your ex drive my truck. Actions have consequences, Madison. Call them back, she snapped. Say you gave him permission. You can fix this. No, I said. I'm not fixing his mistake, or yours. She glared at me like she didn't even recognize who I was anymore. This is going to ruin him financially. Then, I said, maybe he shouldn't have been behind the wheel of a truck he wasn't authorized to drive. She stormed off to the bedroom, slammed the door, and left me standing there. I didn't chase after her. I just grabbed a blanket and crashed on the couch. Not because she kicked me out, it's my apartment, my lease, but because I needed space to think. And in that silence, the anger finally faded, replaced by something heavier. Disappointment. The next morning, I woke up to a message from the insurance adjuster. Attached were photos of the wreck. Front end crumpled. Airbags blown. Frame likely bent beyond repair. My truck, my first major purchase, the one I kept spotless and tuned like a dream, was probably totaled. And all I could think was, this was never just about the truck. I'll be honest, I knew the fallout was coming. I just didn't expect it to spiral this fast. First, Derek tried calling me. I blocked him. Then the text started rolling in, random numbers, desperate tone. Hey man, it's Derek. We need to talk about the insurance thing. Madison says you're being unreasonable. I wasn't even speeding, dude. Don't be a jerk about this. I can't afford a lawsuit. Please, just call me. I didn't even open half of them. Just swiped left and deleted. Not my problem. Not my responsibility. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Meanwhile, Madison? She wasn't trying to fix us. No, she was in full-blown crisis mode trying to save him. His insurance won't cover it since it wasn't his car, she said. He's going to go bankrupt. I just looked at her and said, well, maybe he should have thought about that before getting behind the wheel of something he didn't own. He's a grad student, she shot back. He doesn't have money. Again, I said, not my problem. It is your problem. I'm your girlfriend. I stared at her for a long moment and said, a girlfriend who lied about where she was going and let her ex drive my truck. She had no response. Just silence. The insurance company didn't waste time. They officially declared my truck totaled. Market value? 38 grand. Plus the rental car while I figured out a replacement, another $1,800. Then there was the diminished value claim, $30,000 more. All in all, a neat little package worth $43,000. And guess who got the invoice? Not me. Derek. They sent him a beautiful, formal letter outlining his liability. I almost wanted to frame it. But that's when the real fun began. Madison's family decided to join the party. First came her mother, Denise. She called me, no greeting, no courtesy, straight to outrage. You need to fix this. Right now. There's nothing to fix, I said. That poor boy doesn't have that kind of money. That poor boy, I said, is 28 years old and made an adult decision. Madison made a mistake. You're punishing the wrong person. I'm not punishing anyone, Denise. I'm letting the legal system do its job. If you don't drop this, Madison's going to leave you. I paused and said, that's her choice. Click. She hung up. 20 minutes later, her father, Robert, called, doing the whole man-to-man act. Listen, buddy, he started, I get that you're upset, but ruining a guy's financial future over a fender bender is extreme. It wasn't a fender bender, I said. The truck's totaled. Insurance should sort this out between them. They are, I replied. He's liable because he wasn't authorized to drive. That's literally how insurance works. You could make this go away with one phone call. I could, I said, but I won't. He ran out of words and resorted to colorful insults before hanging up. And then came the social media campaign. Madison's sister, Ashley, posted one of those vague, passive-aggressive status updates. Something about people who claim to love you but destroy innocent lives over jealousy. You can imagine the comments. All their mutual friends joined in, painting me as the villain, the controlling boyfriend who ruined a poor grad student's life. Funny how they left out the parts about Madison lying, meeting up with her ex, and letting him drive my truck. I didn't engage. Didn't post. Didn't argue. I just saved screenshots. You never know when receipts might come in handy. Yesterday, though, Madison tried a different approach. She came home with takeout from my favorite Thai place, wearing the dress, the one I once said she looked beautiful in. She smiled soft, voice sweet. Baby, I've been thinking. You're right. I shouldn't have lied about seeing Derek. That was wrong. But punishing him financially isn't going to help. It's just going to make things harder for us. I looked her dead in the eye and said, there is no us anymore, Madison. Her smile vanished mid-bite. What? You lied about where you were going, I said quietly. You met up with your ex. You let him drive my truck. And now, you care more about his financial future than our relationship. We're done. She stared at me like I'd just dropped a bomb. You're breaking up with me, over a car? I shook my head. No. I'm breaking up with you over lying and betrayal. The car just made it expensive for Derek. That's when the tears started. I made one mistake. No, I said, you made several choices. Meeting Derek was a choice. Lying to me was a choice. Letting him drive was another. And defending him now? Also a choice. Where am I supposed to go? Your parents seem eager to help, I said. I'm sure they'll figure something out. You're kicking me out? You have 30 days. That's the legal notice for a month-to-month tenant. I'll send the paperwork. She stormed off again, phone in hand, crying to whoever would listen. Probably her sister. Maybe her mom. This morning, I woke up to 27 missed calls. Not from Madison, she'd locked herself in the bedroom all night, but from Derek. I finally picked up on the 28th attempt. What do you want? I asked. He was practically shouting. Nothing. I want absolutely nothing from you. The insurance company says I owe $43,000. Sounds about right, I said. I don't have that kind of money. Then maybe you shouldn't have been driving a truck you weren't insured to drive. Madison said it'd be fine. Madison's not an insurance agent or a lawyer. Maybe don't take legal advice from your ex. And then he blurted it out, the line that confirmed everything I already suspected. She's not my ex, it's complicated. I almost laughed. Not complicated for me, I said. She's your problem now. Enjoy the debt. And I hung up. Blocked his number too. A few minutes later, Madison came storming out of the bedroom, face red, eyes wild. Did he just say what I think he said? You tell me, I said. Sounds like you two have been more than just friends catching up. It's not, we weren't. I held up my hand. Madison, I don't care anymore. You've got 29 days left. That's all there is to it. And I walked out. Calm. Done. No yelling. No tears. Just peace. Because at that point, I realized something. Losing a truck? That's temporary. Losing trust? That's permanent. You know when petty turns into full-blown theater? That's exactly how this next act went, except there's nothing funny about it. First, Derek hired some lawyer, the kind of guy who specializes in angry last resort letters. I got a formal demand, stop harassing me, retract your false statements to the insurance company, and also pay my legal fees. Hold on, wasn't he the one who admitted to driving the truck to the cops? I didn't even think twice. I forwarded that little performance piece to my insurer's legal team. Their reply? Practically a chuckle in letter form. They wrote back, point by point. 1. No false statements were made. 2. Derek himself told police he was the driver. 3. The police report backs that up. 4. He has zero standing to sue me. And 5. If he keeps up the harassment, the insurer will tack on harassment claims to the civil suit. In short, nice try, pal. Meanwhile, home became a daily exercise in escalation. Madison was technically still living with me, 22 days left on the notice, but she turned the place into a passive-aggressive obstacle course. On Tuesday she managed to clog the toilet with what looked like a small paper apocalypse. Plumber arrived, hands on hips, and $200 later the throne was functional again. Tuesday, $200. Great. Wednesday at 2 a.m. she hosted an emergency girls' night because she was so depressed. The apartment sounded like a pop-up concert, neighbors were banging on the walls. I stood in the hallway, half asleep and fully annoyed, pretending not to hear who they were and what they were saying about me. Thursday, the storage unit key disappeared. The one key that opens the box with holiday decorations, my camping gear, sentimental junk, poof. Mysterious, was Madison's official explanation. Convenient, right? Friday she used my credit card. Yes, I realize in hindsight leaving the authorized user card active was a dumb oversight. She bought $600 worth of essential interview clothes, because, she declared, you're making me homeless and I need outfits. I disputed the charge and had her removed as an authorized user. Lesson learned, sometimes generosity needs a timeout. But Saturday hit a new low. I walked in from work and there he was, Derek, planted on my couch like he owned the place, elbows on the armrest, helping himself to my food. The smell of someone else eating your favorite meal in your living room is a particular kind of insult. You know the one. Hey, what are you doing here? I asked, trying to keep my voice level. Madison sprang up, defensive. I live here. I can have guests. He's not a guest. He's trespassing. Get out, I said. Derek tried the calm routine. Man, we need to talk about the insurance thing. No we don't, I replied, and started dialing. He left, but not before he muttered that this wasn't over. Threatening mutter, if you ask me. Madison blew up. I have tenant rights. I can have visitors. You can have visitors, I said, but not the person you cheated on me with who wrecked my truck in my house. Pack your stuff. I pointed to the notice on the table. You've got 30 days. The notice can be voided if I'm being reasonable, she shot back. Apparently, letting the guy who caused $43,000 of liability into my home counts as her definition of reasonable. To me it was the nuclear button. She called her parents. An hour later they arrived with a U-Haul. Not to move her out, no, apparently the plan was to strong-arm me instead. Robert planted himself in my doorway like he was the landlord. You're going to drop this insurance claim, he announced. No, I said. I'll make your life hell, he snapped. Get in line, I replied. I might have said it with less charm than that, but the point stands. Denise tried the waterworks. Please. Derek's parents will cut him off. He'll have to drop out of school. Maybe, I said inside my head, he should have thought about that before getting behind the wheel of someone else's vehicle. Then Ashley, Madison's sister, piled on with blatant insults. You're so small and petty. No wonder Madison had to find comfort elsewhere. Comfort? Really? What are we calling it now? Comfort? Madison turned bright red. Ashley, shut up. Too late. The cat was out of the bag. So I laid it out plainly, cool and calm because there's power in being collected in front of a crowd. So you admit it? You've been seeing Derek. We weren't, Madison blurted. It's not cheating. We were on a break. A break? I said. Since when? When exactly were we on a break? She hesitated, which is the kind of hesitation that speaks louder than any excuse. I'd already made up my mind, if she admitted it in front of witnesses, I was done. Then it should be easy for you to leave now, I said. 48 hours. Robert stepped forward, furious. You can't just. I can, I said. She admitted to cheating. Want to stay while she packs, or should I call the police to escort you out? They left with threats and a chorus of, we know people, and lawsuits, the classic family finale. Sunday was eerily quiet. Madison holed up in the bedroom, only sticking her head out occasionally for water or food, avoiding eye contact like it was radioactive. Monday morning, the fallout hit another front. My boss called me into his office. We received a concerning call about you, he said. My stomach dropped. Someone had claimed I was being violent, threatening Madison and her family. Who does that? Who calls HR with a vendetta? I handed him my dossier, the insurance claim, the police report, the texts, the messages. I'd been documenting everything, every interaction, every weird occurrence. Thank God for receipts. He read through it, face changing from worry to something like resignation. It sounded vindictive, but I had to ask, he said. Take the day if you need it. Sort it out. I went home, heart pounding, and found Madison packing. Finally. Relief, until she snapped at me with the gall to ask if I had called her workplace. What? She played the victim like it was a new hobby. I had to bite back a laugh at the audacity. She'd cheated, lied, let her ex total my truck, and yet she was the one positioning herself as the damaged party. Incredible. Then Derek started calling from another number. Now his parents were involved. The message was simple and thinly veiled, drop the claim or they'll come after me. I forwarded the threat to my insurer. They added it to the file and told me bluntly, they were now pursuing additional damages for harassment. Good. Let the record show the harassment. That night I sat on the couch with my phone and the paper trail and tried to breathe. I'd done the paperwork, preserved the receipts, and taken every precaution. But documentation can only do so much when people decide to escalate. I braced myself, because you don't get this far without someone trying a new move. And honestly, I didn't have to wait long to see what that move might be. Madison finally moved out. 47 hours and 59 minutes into her 48-hour deadline, right down to the wire, because of course she did. When I walked into the kitchen that night, the apartment felt lighter, quieter. On the counter sat her key, and a note. I hope you're happy destroying lives over your fragile ego. Derek and I are together now, and we're stronger for surviving your vindictiveness. Karma will find you. Oh, Karma found them all right. Just, not the way she expected. See, Derek's parents did get involved, but not as his cheerleaders. They hired a real attorney, not one of those email warrior types. And once that lawyer reviewed everything, the police report, the insurance documentation, Derek's own admission, the verdict was crystal clear: their son was utterly screwed. The lawyer told them their only realistic option was to negotiate a payment plan with my insurance company. But as his parents started digging, they discovered something that made the whole situation even worse. Turns out, this wasn't Derek's first time behind the wheel of trouble. 2 years ago, he'd had his license suspended for reckless driving. It had been reinstated, sure, but he never disclosed that to Madison, to me, or to the insurance company. When that little detail came out, my insurance company amended the lawsuit. Because driving on a previously suspended license while being an unauthorized operator? Yeah, that pushes liability to a whole new level. The claim ballooned from $43,000 to $52,000, including legal fees. And Derek's parents? They didn't take it well. They cut him off entirely, not just financially. Completely. His father even called me personally. The man actually apologized. "I'm sorry our son put you in this position," he said. "We've enabled him for too long. He's on his own now." That was the first, and only, phone call in this entire mess that ended with mutual respect. As for Madison, reality hit her faster than karma ever could. She moved in with Derek, into his cramped studio apartment, which he shared with 2 other roommates. Love might conquer all, but apparently, it doesn't conquer rent or groceries. Her sister Ashley, ever the social media poet, posted vague "love conquers hardship" quotes on Instagram. #TrueLove, #ride or die. That lasted 5 days. Then I got a text from an unknown number. "Hey, it's Brittany. Thought you should know, foreclosure or whatever. Madison's crashing on my couch now. Derek kicked her out. She expected him to pay for everything since she's unemployed. Also, she found out he's been texting his other ex, Jennifer. The whole group's kinda done with her drama. Sorry about your truck." I actually smiled at my phone for the first time in weeks. I thanked Brittany, wished her good luck with her new roommate, and went on with my day. But Derek, bless his persistence, wasn't finished embarrassing himself. In one last act of delusion, he filed a claim with his insurance, saying he was a permitted driver because Madison had authority to give him permission. His insurer reached out to mine. My insurance company didn't even break a sweat. They sent over the lease, showing Madison wasn't on it. The vehicle registration, in my name alone. Screenshots of our text messages, proving I never gave permission. And Madison's own statement to police, where she clearly admitted she let Derek drive without asking me. Derek's insurance company dropped him faster than a hot coal. Not just the claim, his entire policy. They cited dishonesty on a claim. And that was that. Now Derek's sitting with $52,000 in debt to my insurance company. No car insurance. No parental support. No degree, dropped out to cover legal costs. And no girlfriend. Madison bailed the moment the free ride ended. As for Madison? She's got no boyfriend. No apartment. No car, she sold hers months ago because Derek would drive us everywhere. No friends, burned all those bridges. And no job, she quit to focus on the relationship. Poetic, isn't it? And me? I got my check, full payout for my total Tacoma, plus rental coverage. I used it to buy myself a 2023 model, better engine, better features, and a clean slate. The insurance company is still handling the lawsuit. I don't have to lift a finger, maybe just show up if it ever goes to court. But honestly, Derek's already scrambling to settle. And then, one final call. Robert, Madison's dad. "I hope you're satisfied," he said bitterly. "You've ruined 2 young lives over pride." I didn't ruin anything, I told him. They made choices. They're facing consequences. Derek might have to file bankruptcy. Okay. Madison's depressed. Okay. You're heartless. That's when I laughed. Heartless? Your daughter lied to me, cheated on me, and let her side piece wreck my truck, and I'm heartless because I refuse to cover for them? Interesting logic. He hung up. So yeah, maybe karma doesn't need anyone's help. Sometimes, you just have to stand back, stay calm, and let it do what it does best. This will be my last update. The legal mess is finally winding down, and honestly, it's time to close this chapter for good. Derek ended up filing for bankruptcy. Chapter 7. My insurance company recovered what little they could, around $3,000 from selling off his gaming setup and a few collectibles, and wrote off the rest. My rates didn't even go up. Apparently, when you're not at fault and the other guy admits everything, karma really does balance the books for you. As for Madison? Let's just say life gave her a crash course in consequences, pun fully intended. After Brittany kicked her out for borrowing money without asking, Madison went crawling back to Derek. The same Derek who, by that point, had already rekindled things with his other ex, Jennifer. And that reunion went exactly how you'd imagine. From what I heard through the grapevine, Madison had a full-on meltdown outside Derek's apartment, screaming about how he ruined her life and owed her for making her choose him over stability. Security had to step in. She was formally trespassed from the property. Last I heard, she moved back in with her parents 2 states away. Her grand comeback to social media included captions like "starting fresh" and "leaving toxic situations behind." The comments section? Brutal. People were calling her out left and right, saying, "You mean the toxic situation you created?" Couldn't have said it better myself. Derek, meanwhile, is working 2 jobs, one at a car wash, one at a warehouse, trying to rebuild after bankruptcy. I actually ran into him at a gas station last week. I was filling up my brand new 2023 Tacoma, shiny, upgraded, not a scratch on it. He saw me, froze, then turned around and literally ran back to his dented old Honda. Guess seeing the upgraded version of the truck he destroyed hit harder than any lawsuit. But the best closure came from someone I never expected. Madison's grandmother. She sent me a Facebook message. A sweet, handwritten style paragraph that read, "Young man, I heard what my granddaughter did to you. I'm ashamed of her, and of how her parents raised her. You did the right thing. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. She needed to learn that her actions have consequences. Maybe she'll grow up now, though I doubt it. You deserve better. P.S. Nice new truck." I saw the pictures. I actually laughed out loud reading that one. The pure sincerity of it, and that last line, made my day. Life's quieter now. Peaceful. I'm dating again, slowly. Coffee dates, casual conversations, nothing serious yet. Being honest about boundaries, expectations, and non-negotiables. If Madison taught me anything, it's this: red flags don't fade with time. They just get brighter if you ignore them. I repainted the apartment, rearranged the furniture, bought a bigger TV, and finally made the place feel like mine again. And yes, I bought a dashcam for the new truck. Nobody drives it but me now. Ever. Every now and then, Madison's family still tries to stir up drama. Ashley, the self-proclaimed truth teller, posted something like, "Men just can't handle strong independent women." The irony of calling Madison independent when she couldn't even pay her own phone bill? Priceless. Looking back, the title of my original story almost makes me laugh. "Don't be mad," she said, after letting her ex drive my truck while cheating on me. The sheer entitlement still blows my mind. But if this whole saga taught me anything, it's that standing your ground isn't cruelty, it's self-respect. I didn't ruin Derek's financial future. He did, when he chose to drive a truck that wasn't his. I didn't ruin Madison's life. She did, when she chose to lie and cheat. I just stopped shielding them from the consequences they worked so hard to earn. When my insurance company sent a follow-up survey, I couldn't resist. 5 stars. And under additional comments, I wrote, "They turned my ex's entitlement into a life lesson. 10 out of 10 would let them sue Derek again." The agent who called to confirm actually laughed. Said it was the best response they'd seen all year. So, to anyone listening who's been through something like this, take it from me. Document everything. Don't cave to emotional blackmail. And above all, never let anyone who's not on your insurance drive your vehicle. Trust me on that one. And if you don't, ask Derek. Actually, no, don't. He probably can't afford the phone bill to pick up anyway.